Greetings and peace. The greatest division that exists in this world. It's not racism. Even though family division or nation being against nation is a part of it. But it's a part of it because of the truth. See, the greatest division is the truth. Police brutality has caused the topic of racism to be amplified in these recent times. It's true that there's a portion of Caucasian people that have a hate or contempt for the Aboriginal people of these lands and the so-called black of the diaspora. But why do they have that hate? What's the root of it? You understand? See, it's a power struggle in this world. And that power struggle deals with truth. The division is the law of God. And believe it or not, the Aboriginal people of these lands, the so-called black of the diaspora, have a historical record of doing what? Upholding God's law, the Great Spirit's law. Now, not all of them are doing it. But see, what the other nations are afraid of or what they are warring against is the portion of these people that will wake up and begin to do that again. Who am I talking about? Yes, the Native Americans, the so-called black of the diaspora, are brothers and sisters. They're from the tribes of Israel. As I've said before, the Jews that are in the state of Israel today have said in their literature for decades that they are not the original Hebrews. Now, the Christian church does not teach this because a lot of the Christian doctrine is not set up to teach the Bible circumspectly. So, yes, black people will continue to be targeted. Hispanic people, Native Americans. Many of these people have been mixed up. It doesn't matter. They will be targeted because some of them have the bloodline. Many of them have the bloodline of a people, the nation of Israel, who upheld God's law, which is the ultimate division in this world. The division of who do you believe in? In what law are you establishing? What is your belief? Right? The majority of nations don't want to deal with the Great Spirit's law. And that's a decision we all have to make. Some don't believe in the Great Spirit, right? And those people are really not even in the conversation with this because they don't understand what's going on in this world. Because this is a real thing that the upper classes of different nations know about. The ruling classes of the Caucasian people or the European crowns understand why they're doing what they're doing and who they're warring against and what they're afraid of. Of people who would wake up again and uphold God's law and oppose them. Right? That's the truth. Many people don't know this. That's the division in this world. And to cement that division at its highest level, you had the Son of God who came and gave us the understanding of how to perform that, what mind and heart we have to operate in. So the keeping of the commandments in light of Christ, which most Christian churches don't teach. And that's why I've said that the Christian church is a trap. And if you have groups that are just dealing with the Old Testament and not the New Testament, they're a trap. That's the real division that exists in this world. Everybody has a common understanding of right or wrong, but where we fail is that we stay to that common understanding. Right? And all of us have violated that common understanding. We stay in that rebellion against God, many of us not knowing that it's rebellion. We have to elevate past that common understanding to God's standard. Right? We have to accept an atonement for our sin, which is the good news of the beloved Son, because there has to be atonement for our wrongdoing, or we come up short and we're guilty before our God, and we all have to stand in judgment for our life. That's the reality. Everything will be accounted for. That's the war in this world, though. You have nations that, in their quest for power, the Caucasian tribes were impeded by the people I mentioned because those people upheld God's law. And those people were willing to defend not only themselves, but other people who were being, right, unrighteously dealt with. That was the problem. A struggle of power based off choice, based off the truth, based off another people or many other nations that chose error. That's the division that exists in this world. So there will not be peace until the end. The division will increase. I just want people out there who are not familiar with this to understand what's going to happen. They're going to continue to target so-called black people, Aboriginal people, mixed Hispanic people because of their bloodline and who might wake up amongst them, because that's happening now. People that will begin to speak about God's law and the establishment of it in this earth. That's happening now. So it's going to get worse now, because those ruling classes, they know true history. They've been at war with this before the Americas. We have to make our choice. Regardless of what those wicked powers, regardless of what other nations choose to do in ruling tyrannically over this earth, we have to make the right choice. They're going to do what they're going to do, right? They're absolutely corrupted because of the power that they have and what they've chosen. But do we want to make it out of this life with right standing before our Creator so that we're not condemned to hell? The establishment of God's law, going past our own mind, letting go of our own understanding, and accepting the teaching of Christ, because He's the one that showed us what mind and spirit we have to have. The life of faith, because it takes faith. It takes a humble mind before our Maker. That's the truth. That's the greatest division. And that division divides people even amongst their own household, even amongst their family. Because we have an issue with our own personal paradigm, that we like the darkness that we choose. And many of us don't let go of that. And that leads us to hell. That's the reality of this life. But we have an opportunity to amend that, to leave that behind. And know that most people will separate from you, right? Condemn you, come against you, because that's how real the spiritual divide is. That you've had tribes of people destroy and target other people because of the truth, or even the potential for people to wake up amongst those tribes and begin to uphold the law of God. That's how real it is. Just something to consider. In the meantime, in between time, get wisdom over everything, establishing the commandments and the testimony of Christ. That's our only way. The nations have chosen traditions in gods that are not gods. And it's not to hate other people. It's not to condemn someone, right, in their religion. It's just about the truth. It's about condemning error, not the person, because we've all done wrong. But if people continue to hold to wrong, then it's God who condemns and judges us. We make condemnation of error. And that's where the divide in this world happens. But in a humble way, because again, look, we've all done wrong. Someone else believes something else. Look, sin is sin. Might be worshiping another God. Well, we've all done wrong. But the reality is, when that law begins to come forth in the understanding of Christ with that, it's a divide. So that's the world that we're living in. Let us make the right choice for ourselves. Until next time, peace.